Guys, and welcome to the month of Aquarius. So Aquarian energy is the 11th energy, so this is going to be very important what kind of goals we set this month. You can see different segments of your life. What is your journey? What is happening with your family? Where is your prosperity lying? What you should be doing to increase your chances of looking good, and what is, like, for example, residing in your love and marriage house. And if you guys want your private reading, and if you waited for a special with me, this is the time. So basically what's happening right now, it is upgraded. So the regular readings, which usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to turn around in a week. So you're going to get a price of a regular, you're going to get a rush reading. If you order a rush reading to get it within or under a week, you're going to get it within the 3 days. And if you order an urgent reading, which is usually 3 days delivery, you're going to get it within 24 hours. So just book a regular reading or rush reading or urgent reading, and that's going to be upgraded. So guys, you can check the deals on my website, and let's not forget my Cat Tarot X spread is on special still for $50, so you can look at in that. So in any case, visit www.cattarot.ca and look up the various. So without much further ado, let's jump into your monthly reading. Hi Scorpio, welcome to your January-February reading. I'm doing that together. One, I needed some break. Two, with eclipse coming on the 31st, and yeah, please make sure to see my eclipse video. It's going to be a really powerful one in Leo. So being a fixed sign, you being a fixed sign, it's going to really affect you more than just the other signs. So let's kind of start. I'll first tell you sort of like the overview, then I'm going to go into the cards because not everybody is familiar with this deck. So underlying energy, it is like 6 of Wands. Something feels right, something feels being on top of the world, it feels energetic, it feels powerful. You're kind of like charging forward, even though again I see this fire element kind of like really waking up in you. There is still lots of stress, so maybe you're pushing forward too far, too much, too soon, and instead of like that being a balance or charge, you're going to run yourself down. Now another energies of du jour is the star, and it is kind of like really interesting because you also have star reverse here. And which one was this? The enchanted map, which you're going to get in the end. You got the ghost lands, but it is also 17, just like the star. So some kind of healing energy opening up to the others. It's kind of interesting that you have both. So you're opening up to certain stages, reaching out for the stars. Communication is getting better if that was an issue, but there are also aspects of you, of your life, that you're still kind of like blocking out, that you're still impenetrable. It is kind of like really, really interesting to kind of like continue with that. And before I go in the cards, let me just go with the central one, because the central one from this kind of vibrational deck, I'm just like simply looking at your vibrations. So I kind of like already prepare that in a pause, and it says this: whatever recurring dreams you're experiencing, either in sleep state or awakened, are not good for you. Some might call them night terrors rather than dreams, but if these are day-walking fears, then you need to trust them. Change the vibration from trepidation and anxiety to belief, and allow your soul to filter out and heal things that no longer serve you or that are needed. So I think that would answer like these kind of prominence of the star card, which is of course my favorite card in this entire deck. So guys, let me tell you what you have. You have 4 Wands reversed. You have the Star reversed. You have Ace of Wands. You have Queen of Wands. You have the Devil in the center. You have the High Priestess, pardon me. Then you have the Empress reversed. Then you have 2 of Swords reversed. And then you have 5 of Swords. Here you have the Star as underlying energy, but you also have enemy, anger, and desire. Enemy can be simply arrival or jealousy that you may be experiencing. It's kind of like, again, push and pull energy. And this is pretty much going to be the flavor of the next month and a half of the interim of this reading. Mind you, if you jump into this reading later or at any given time, this means like you're actually connecting with this vibration. So okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 majors. Well, major arcanas are generally saying that's sort of like not debatable issue that's going to be addressed, right? And then you have like the 5th one here and the 6th one there. So this period is going to be very, very important. You guys have to think and look back to what happened in August during the solar eclipse. You have to think back to last February and see what dots you can connect between February, August, and now. Because something needs to be wrapped up. Something that has been lasting in your life for about 15 months. So about, let's say, 1.5 years. That you have been getting on a new track. If you're a mother, then maybe certain things started to feel wrong. Maybe you were involved with somebody like in the past where the issues were about your children, or you have been involved with somebody who maybe kind of like pushed children forward or really didn't know how to continue. It could have been a relationship full of lust, but it could be also a situation where you felt stuck. It could be an ex-partner, it could be a whole bunch of addictions in the situation, and of course it could be a third-party relationship as well, because I see fire signs, I see earth signs, and I see air signs that could have their finger in that. I see Aquarius very, very prominently in this particular story over here, my dear Scorpio. So that energy of anxiety, that vibration told us, like, it's kind of like really seen, because I think it's coming to the surface. It is telling you, Scorpio, I'm giving you this master lesson. You're not even given some tiny little touch of, okay, come on, it's not a Swedish massage. It is like a heavy duty Thai massage of the fingers being kind of dug in. The point is, like, here that I see some situation where you have been with somebody in the past where you kind of like really wanted to nest. You, that person, kids, like everything kind of like was going in that direction. You were hopeful, you were loving, but there was some kind of jealousy in the situation. And when jealousy is tinted with desire, it's you, Scorpio. You kind of like always are able to go and explore this emotion as deep as it's possible, and you're kind of like one of those people, just give it to me, I can take it, I want to go deeper. Well, it looks like you got what you wanted over here, and it could be even actually you that haven't been fully ready for kind of like moving forward. The person you kind of like were with was like really person you felt was a good match, was maybe even flamboyant, community organizer, party. It kind of like was lots of energy and lots of fun, and this is something that you really, really like. And you kind of like removed yourself from your own energy. Your own energy is like deep and intense, and the energy of the fire sign is like light and fast, right? And it kind of like felt really different, but kind of like looks like the situation really burnt you out to a point that there was like some kind of feeling of not being able to move forward almost like being paralyzed. I mean, whenever I see this card in this deck, the devil, this kitty wants to be a dog. That's like Safi. And this kitty here wants to be a rabbit. So obviously being completely out of your element, which I kind of like see here. So it is almost like, just imagine you're in the house of mirrors. In the house of mirrors, let's say you can step out, you know, like this kind of like setup, you're going through these dark rooms and it's just like being revealed one mirror at a time. So you just go in one room and it is like a different you. And you maybe like how you come across, but you come out and there is something else. It looks like you have been torn in many different directions over here. Torn to a point that you spend lots of time thinking how to go about it. For some reason, you kind of like really wanted to have this kind of like family, which I see sort of like being abandoned right now. Either this relationship didn't work out, or the Empress being reversed could actually mean even a loss of pregnancy of some kind of sort. It could be that you have been involved, especially if you're a guy, with a woman and something didn't happen. Or it could be unexpected pregnancy, which had to result in a marriage as a result. Either or. In any case, this kind of like start evolving into a three-party situation, and being centralized figure, I just cannot not to mention this, because that also was connecting with your vibrations needing to be higher. The point here that I see is that your vibrations were very, very high, and you kind of like really burn yourself out over here. Because you know what, Scorpio? I see something that I don't see here, and that is water. Completely kind of like water would not kind of work. You are the water creature. You need water. You feel comfort in something that is like so thick, something that kind of like meshes around you. But you feel like a fish out of water for some kind of reason. And you have to kind of like connect, because this is the energy. You're supposed to, like, you're on a path of your own healing. You're on a path in going in a good direction, and healing for you, it looks like you had lots of, let's say, poison. Let's say you had lots of issues that kind of like were created from fear, and thus is that fear and anxiety that is talking about. Here, there is like this stress, and it's like kind of this duality to like go from, hey, the winner takes it all, to, oh, look at this, I can do everything. Isn't this kind of stressful? Living a life like that, where just like one wrong move can set everything up and go up in the flames. It's very strange, because I'm really confused with this, the devil being right in the center. The devil means you are definitely on the wrong train. This train you should have left long ago, and you thought that you were on the right train, and somehow the station rang and you were like, oh my gosh, I didn't arrive where I wanted to be, and I'm really shocked. But for some reason, there's like no kind of like structure of opening your energies, because you have both the star reversed, which kind of like is very kind of internally devoted energy, as well as sort of like waiting for somebody else to make decisions for you, sort of like figuring out how to actually reach this decision. And I simply feel that you could be thrown in two directions for some reason, because you are mulling over certain ideas in your own head. This is a very, very high energy. You kind of dealt with these energies and they kind of like almost burn you out, and this is even higher. And this is like processing things on a completely different level than you guys. This is feeling literally victorious over some, let's say, perceived mental victory, where you absolutely win the subject. You know what they say to you, they teach you when you're in a business school. Well, you know, you always have to create situations to be win-win. And why is that? Because in this situation, we clearly see win, and somebody kind of like being immersed into their own self-importance. So here talking about a narcissist, here talking about somebody who doesn't have to be full-blown narcissist, but there is like a sense of me, 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 me. But look at this. The others are hurt. The others are affected in the situation. And yeah, you may be a winner, but you know what? When you kind of like create this like win-lose scenario, oh, the losers remember that, because emotions kind of like get ingrained inside of us, and you're simply getting sort of like another entry under your name. Oh, this is what happened, or this is what happened. Sometimes, as I said, this is not a full-blown narcissism, but this is definitely a card that is asking me to tell you that you guys need to kind of like look 360. You have to see how your own actions are affecting others, how your own kind of like goodwill can sometimes turn out to be a disaster. Sometimes we are doing the right thing and we think you're doing the right thing, and there is like this big blow up. Let me just see what is the general energy over here. Okay, so we have 17 and 17, 34, 35, 39, 49, 54, 56, 61, 63, 63 and 3, 66, and 7, 73. Huh. So the energy is 10 or 1, so it's a wheel of fortune. So that means the cycle needs to kind of like flip. You are definitely probably striving to get out of this devil situation. I really feel that this devil, because it's coming from all the sides here for you, you're definitely also having issues, like it's questioning you on so many different levels, Scorpio. This is questioning you on a family level. In fact, family might actually be the area where kind of like things actually are working out. You may have some kind of like forced marriage, shotgun wedding, if you really wish, because somebody got pregnant. But there is like something new that is growing out from the old. This is a new beginning. If you're single and you want to date, you'll be finding somebody. If you are in on and off relationship, you most likely will be returning back to that relationship. Now, if you're single and you find someone, that person is going to have a flavor of somebody you already dated. It might be a completely different body, but you're going to simply feel, hey, I know this person, because it's kind of like how this person is going to come and rush in your life. It's something karmic that is happening in the cycle. You're having Wheel of Fortune. It's a karmic cycle, so most likely you will be going in a karmic soulmate or resolving the issue. Maybe there is like this need to kind of like lift the energy up, because look at that. Kind of like this energy of hope and going forward and wishing forward is kind of like almost bestowed on this kitty, but it's reversed. So this energy is felt at some point almost like lost, and you really feel on some level suppressed. You really feel on some level you want to grow. On some level you feel that you want to push forward. And like given that you are adding up to Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of weird. Sagis also added up to Wheel of Fortune. It's kind of like time to do this turn. It's time to go to the next stage. Time to go to the next level. You really need to work on your own strength. You really need to work on what is important to you, because it's going to be very important. And you have it twice. You have this like needing to be victorious twice. And given the fact that you are a fixed sign, you do know that sometimes you are a dog with a bone. Like you will grab it and not to let it go. So in particular, there are like still some kind of like mysteries that you want to uncover, and even in your own life. But you might, especially those of you that are mothers or fathers that have children, they will be dealing with kind of like knowledge and understanding and getting to know each other, because this pretty much to me is the only card which is the crescent moon, right? That would connect to something of your own flavor. So it looks like the family kind of like works well. As far as your career, and you don't feel complete comfort opening up to everybody, almost looks like you just want certain things to be get over for some reason. But it's going to be a completely new cycle in your career as well for some reason. Now there is lots of thinking about somebody from the past, and this kind of like, it's really interesting to me that you have enemy, you have anger, and you have desire. I actually didn't plan my gypsy cards to be part of the reading. I only wanted to have them as clarifiers, but they kind of like start to jump out, and I kind of like really have to take that in account, because they're still simply telling me a story, right? And this is clearly telling me what is lying underneath this kind of like need to go forward, to kind of like look at your own star. So you need to decide, and you need to discern the right thing from the wrong thing, and that kind of like has to happen on a much deeper level. So again, honestly, this devil to me, it looks like and I keep looking at it, I keep kind of like thinking I'm going to say it, I'm not going to say it, and I will say it. You guys are dealing with issues right now, and these issues really asks you, like you see when the star comes reversed with devil upright, this is telling me this card is dominating, that the darkness wants to take you over, wants to take you to the place where you have already been, because you are on a trajectory of healing, but you will be encountering issues and circumstances that will try to take you back to the times where you were with somebody else. Now guys, this could be a soulmate. You have both the Emperor, Empress, and the High Priestess, which definitely also tells me mother and a child. There is like some kind of circumstance, but also who is the third person? Is this a person that exists, or is this a person who is just hovering over? The third person can be a mother, but that it could be just simply something that heavily interferes with the relationship, such as alcohol, drugs, working too much. Simply somebody is completely acting out of their element. You guys, this is a cycle that only goes down, and it just cannot repair from that point on. So okay, now great news is that things are moving forward, and like they can move forward with a rapid speed toward the end of February. You're having 1 2 5 6 7, so it's kind of like going really fast in many kind of directions. But because it goes so fast, you will actually be really stressed out by the end of February. But remember, the whole purpose of this entire exercise is to kind of like really understand who you are. Maybe this is codependency. Maybe you are attracted to the same people over and over. Maybe you have to stick with someone because, let's say, somebody got pregnant. Maybe you have to stick with somebody for any other reason. Maybe you don't have the finances to kind of like be on your own. This still is a codependency. This is still kind of like each and every second pushing you away from your own self to where you should be, right? And this also can talk to me about emotional void, right? This could mean that very little is going on right now, and lots of time that you maybe spent isolated. Maybe you're left on the sidelines as an observer, and maybe like you're not participating in life. Maybe you're not participating with other people. This is definitely a card that requires you to be patient with yourself. the devil is kind of an interesting card as well, because you have 17. So you're going from 15 to literally 17, and it's a big process, guys. The card that is missing, but as well it could be here, is the Tower. When Tower shows up, it breaks these chains, because you literally have to jump off, otherwise you would just simply go down to disaster. And you have to walk through thorns to kind of get to this feeling, well, finally I can relax. Finally, you know, I have this like stardust covering me, but not in this sense. You see, there is a huge difference in learning. And this is like where you should be heading. This is like the inner growth from inside, building your own strength. Where here, this is the uttermost weakness. It's going to feel for a period of time around the eclipse, guys, that honestly, you just cannot catch a break. That stress is so high that you're having these huge moments of burst of energy and victory. And remember that you have to look around and see if anybody was hurt in the situation, because you might even be completely blindsided about this whole thing. So remember, let's go back to this, that you really don't have to do anything special over here, but all you have to do is spend some time to meditate, because whenever we have the star is asking us to kind of like do internal kind of repair. I don't know if you guys have a computer in Windows system. If computer for some reason starts to kind of like collapse and feels like there are too many files kind of bundled up together, it's just going to start and perform self-repair. And this is what needs to be done here. You kind of like really need to turn inward. This is also asking you to turn inward. Somebody doesn't want you to do that. Like, it looks like you have the circumstances currently lining up in your life that you are either kind of closing your eyes to it, or simply just going with the flow, but that going with the flow eventually will explode in your face, because you have Two of Swords reversed, right? Now, prosperity could be good for this period, right? There is a time and season for everything, and it just like kind of tells me how heavy weight there is here for something from the past. And eclipses sometimes have the same flavor as Mercury retrograde. It can be even heavier, not because of eclipse per se, but because they're asking us to kind of like pay attention to sometimes minute and sometimes like really big details. For you, you're turning your back to something that you need to do, like the healing that star, like you really are on a trajectory to get there. So who or what is blocking you, Scorpio? You really have to figure that one out yourself. So let me just do a few clarifications here. I want to see that star. I want to see the devil. I guess majors, because everything else can be sort of like impacted, but majors you can't. They're like here for a reason. So let's see, why is this healing not taking place? Wow, this is interesting. You have another star. Oh my gosh, guys, put down on your fridge the star. You literally have to reach for the stars. You have to be the star, but without all this like victory feeling. Feeling good is good. Rewarding yourself is good. But sometimes when we feel too great, I don't know if you can see it over here. You can see it here. Let me zoom this in so I can show you. In both of these pictures, it's the same story. Look. Can you see the kitties? Also not super happy because somebody got away. Same thing here. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking fantastic. These two are walking away sad. And now on this star asking me, what do you need to do to open up And the star does mean hope. It does mean community. It does mean talking things out. You're getting card hope, which is another basically name for the star card. So let's see this inner work. Officer. This is kind of like always difficult card for me to interpret. It could be something official. It could be marriage. It could be dealing with your own internal issues. Maybe things are not in sync. Maybe there is a legal challenge over here that you need to face. Something has to finish here. Officially it needs to finish. Okay, so what are the loose ends? With whom are you chained? I think this is giving me the answer. You're chained with someone. How are you chained with someone, guys? Because you really you need to let go. You need to say, hey, thank you for being a part of my journey, but my journey ends here and I need to move forward, because it's asking you to kind of like really go into this new cycle. As far as this devil, gosh, you are guys money oriented. And funny, I just had this conversation today with my brother that the entire world is becoming so money dedicated. And while it is really good to put food on our table, it is basically taking over this energy of the devil. And that's where we are getting, because it is just like completely going out of balance. I'm not saying don't earn money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that work and life balance has to happen. And I think this is what is telling me that there is none. There is like no work-life balance. Yeah, there was like some sadness in the past, possibly over, you know, loss of a baby or loss of a relationship over here. All right, Scorpio. Then I did pull 2 more cards. One is this Ghostlands, and another one was, believe it or not, Soulmate, which we have seen over here. So let's start with this one first. It says, you and another are one. Nurture in yourself the qualities you seek in another. And by the way, there is a soulmate in the reading. You have a 6 here, 15, 1 and 5, 6, and 6 is here as well. So there definitely is coming in the reading. Be very careful with this, because you guys are, you see, I'm Aquarius. To Aquarians, the entire life is adventure, it's journey. You just don't take things too seriously, and that's a problem. You guys take everything too seriously, and that's a problem. For Aquarian to lose a soulmate, it's like, ugh, because like we are idiots, right? We think, oh, we'll find another one, right? Because we are born with the star card. You guys are born with a death card. You cannot waste this. Your energy is not as quick as it is air energy. And now you're like simply, for some reason, well, it might not be your fault. So like, don't get me wrong, because I see here sadness and sorrow over something. And maybe this is the frustration. Maybe this is why you just like went to the center and said, well, you know what? Money is all I care about right now. And this is what they care, because soulmate, everything is secondary. And kind of like there is like a direction up. Yeah, stress. I don't care. Stress is fine. You will also have to kind of like sit and explain yourself about certain cause of action. And I think it's going to be family/relationship segment. So let's see what it says here. Okay, where do we start here? There is someone either in your life right now or about to come into your life who will play a big part in your soul's journey. You're honored that this person is available for you. You have an affinity with this person that is on a deeper level that you have experienced in friendships up to now. You feel a sense of comfort in this person's presence, and you are drawn to spend time with them. You find a commonality that you share on both of your soul's journeys. If you're still waiting for this person, be patient. Do not spend every waking hour longing for this mate to appear. Instead of being consumed by the desire to meet, Focus on holding the intention of meeting them. Work on becoming whole and balanced. Develop in yourself the qualities you wish to find in your soulmate. When you're ready, they will appear. Actually, that kind of makes lots of sense, because if you guys lost hope, you lost everything. Then you're going to become this like robotic creature that's going to be a money-making machine. And you know what? This is the definition of self-imposed slavery. And here is like, it's probably again another basically star card, but also with a caveat. So you have like 2 up and 2 down, and it says this: Ghostlands. You can learn from the past and imagine a beautiful future, but you must live in the here and now. Whatever you set your sights too far ahead, you run the risk of losing your footing, for rarely do the present and future match up exactly on the enhanced map that is your life story. The future has no substance right now. It's a place that has no grounding as of yet. You can't live there, yet you can take measured steps toward a goal or dream. These steps are important right now. The same goes for nostalgia. You can look into the past wistfully and remember beautiful moments or revisit lessons learned. However, you can't live there, nor can you go back and change what was. Yesterday is gone forever. Live fully in the present. The now is the most powerful place to put your attention. Its magic reaches out in every direction, further than the heart and soul can see. So guys, this is a big month to push you forward. Like, your readings throughout 2017 were kind of like very interesting. I was actually even dreading doing Scorpio readings because I just don't like to give a bad reading, but I feel dedicated to tell you what I see on the table. And life is life. It goes up and goes down, and sometimes like even as a package deal comes together. You guys been through a lot, and you looks like work really hard on you, because it was a period of time it was like, oh my gosh, Scorpio, oh my gosh, Scorpio. Right now you're in the last push. You know, like when you ran a marathon, or let's not go that far, let's go my elliptical, and I have to do 5 more minutes, and it feels like, oh my gosh, I will never do that. And I motivate myself, and I give myself something that I really want, and I said, you're not going to get it, just keep going. You're not going to get it if you stop. You're not going to get it if you stop. That's what I would advise you to do as well. Keep pushing, and keep pushing harder, because right now you're going to kind of slip and not give yourself this healing and hope, and you are on the right path, Scorpio. So please, Scorpio, heal thyself. It is time. Love you guys. Please, if you haven't ordered your annual Taroscope, you can get it via my website, www.kittarot.ca. And for the private reading, it's a super duper special. You're getting basically upgrade for any reading that you buy. So feel free to get that as well. I'm open. I'm here for you. And of course, I always love reading Scorpio comments. So let's go from there. Love you guys.